President Trump confronted South African president with unfounded claims of white genocide during a recent meeting. The encounter has drawn criticism and concern over the spread of misinformation and its impact on international relations. Now, I wonder why no other white nation in Europe, the Western world, the UK, the British, the French, the Danes, the Swiss, people from Finland, Norway, Iceland, Greenland, so on and so forth, has called out for these white Afrikaners, these Boers, to have the support of a very powerful nation and provide them refugees, or the support of being a refugee and bringing over them to their countries. I wonder why we don't see that across the board when it comes to the Western nation. Now, America is still majority white, but of course that number is declining. Some people are stating they're trying to plus the numbers of white people in America by grabbing them from anywhere in the world, wherever they live, in Europe and South Africa, wherever there's a majority of white people, Argentinians, North Africans, a lot of them, when you go to countries like Northern Morocco, you see a lot of fair-skinned people who look European. That's because a lot of them are. If you look at their ancestry, 23andMe, a lot of their roots, a lot of their DNA derives from being Europeans. They're majority Europeans. And that's why they have very, very fair skin. Now, a lot of them are mixed with Arabic, but if you go to the censusbureau.gov and you look up race demographics in America, America categorized people who are from North Africa and Europe to be white in America. So even if you are from Yemen, you're from Saudi Arabia, when you come to America, you are considered white. And with white, we understand there's white privilege. White privilege is not the same as the wealth gap in America that majority of whites have. It's not the same thing. White privilege, I'll give you one quick example, and you guys may agree or disagree. White privilege in America is not having tons of money. Like, oh, you're white privilege. Oh, well, I'm poor. We came from humble beginnings, so on and so forth. It has nothing to do with that. Let's just take, for instance, I'm a rich black man, which I am not. And you have a poor white man. And there was a crime that has been committed. Regardless of the amount of money I have on my defense team, he can do a GoFundMe, and there will be pouring of hundreds of thousands of dollars to support his claim. And more times than likely, he will get off from the crime, or I'll be proven guilty from the crime, or I'll lose that case altogether. I'm not stating that is the occurrence every single time. But as we look at historical evidence and data, when it comes to the judicial proceedings in America, that has been the highest percentage results that any relations between a white person and a black person in court, that the white person has been favorable to win. There was a story, and I was going to show you guys this particular video clip of this white woman calling a black child on the playground the N-word over and over and over again. So someone was taking her to court, and she started a GoFundMe. Did you know the white supremacists donated $750,000 to support her defense? $750,000. They almost instantly made her a millionaire because she was calling a black child the N-word repeatedly. And there was someone recording her, which seems to be a white male who was against these very defaming and racist, discriminatory words towards this child. And he like, I bet you won't say it again. You said what you say again? And she started to say it again. And America has responded. The white supremacists in America has responded with funding her account with $750,000. But they're stating that there's white genocide in South Africa. But the South African has a different story. And I want you guys to hear this so you have a take on it as well.
I don't think it was the right call. South Africa is is a country on its own. I don't think we need to explain ourselves to USA, to US. Yeah, whatever they think about South Africa, he should have just let it be. We know where we stand. We, as South Africans, we know there's no white genocide. So for me, it was a pointless exercise.
I think Donald Trump, he thinks is a leader of the whole world. So I think what he did, Cyril Ramaphosa, to prove them that we don't have no separation in this country. We believe as South African. That's why we call ourselves the Rainbow Nation.
I'm a scientist.
All right. I don't know why that got cut off, but nonetheless, they're basically stating that Donald Trump's claims, Donald Trump claims of white genocide in South Africa is false. Now, we understand that presidents and politicians lie all the time. They allude to different things. They make things more inflammatory than what they really are. Believe me when I tell you this, if there were truly white genocide in South Africa, and this is just my belief, in my opinion, that there will be white nations knocking down the doors of South Africa right now. You will have the Danes, you will have the Norwegians, you will have the British, you will have the French, you will have the Spaniards, you will have everyone knocking down South African door, and no one would be able to save the South Africans. There would be every white nation, and don't forget, a lot of the wealth that a lot of these white nations have came from the continent of Africa, came from the exportation of people and their resources that are naturally to their land. So do I believe that South Africans are committing white genocide of the people, of the white South Africans there? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We would see all sorts of carnage. We would see all sorts of this evidence instead of a few grave sites that they try to show on TV saying these are all the white South Africans that the black South Africans killed. I think as the American people, and I'm not siding with either side, but if you're going to tell us there's white genocide in South Africa, you're going to have to give us more than just some grave sites. We're going to need evidence and proof, just like anything else in America. See, I think people get confused with ethics and morals. Ethics and morals has nothing to do with the law. I want you guys to look at the P. Diddy case. They're trying to prove that he committed a crime. And the way they're going about doing that is to demoralize his character, to make him seem very heinous and despicable and nasty and all sorts of egregious things. That's what they're trying to do. But they can't pinpoint a crime that he committed. Now, ethically and morally, do I agree with the acts that he's done and abusing women and this, that, and the other? Absolutely not. But he paid Cassie off and she didn't press charges. So the question now is, was this sex trafficking, drug trafficking, a bit of both? Where's the evidence? Who's his henchman? Who's going to come out and speak against P. Diddy? They're having a hard time. They're having a really hard time. Now, everybody is finding all these despicable things of urination. I'm not going to get into details. But I just wonder, what evidence do they have? So again, in a court of law, what evidence do we have to say that white South Africa has been genocide? Let me show you guys some genocides that has been occurring. Give me 1 second here. I really want to show you guys some genocides that's been happening because I think they're really trying to pull the wool over our eyes with this one. Now, I typed in Africa that are at civil war. You see Sudan, South Sudan, the Central African Republic, and the parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And you also have Somalia, Ethiopia have experienced civil conflicts, okay? And again, a lot of these people are at civil war because they're at war with themselves. But these are tribal conflicts, okay? These are tribal conflicts when one tribe may be more powerful, maybe stronger, maybe larger, who are trying to literally genocide the other tribe, right? For whatever reason, I'm not going to get into details. I don't think that's a part of it, but this is very inhumane to go out and kill said group, to unalive said group simply because they're part of a different tribe. They're part of a different group, so to speak. Same difference, in my opinion. Same difference. Some people are like, well, that's blacks killing blacks. You guys are just used to each other killing each other. No, we got it from white people. Right? All the wars that you guys have between Great Britain and France, all you guys used to fight, and you guys are right beside each other. So it's the same difference. It's the same difference. Okay, so we understand the country. So then I had to look up genocides and what the organizations like the Genocide Watch have put out. So they said Genocide Watch have issued alerts and warnings regarding the situation in Gaza, particularly in the context of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Then you have the reports from Sudan, organization like the Limkin Institute and CNN have highlighted the risk of genocide in Sudan, particularly in the Darfur region amongst ongoing conflict and violence. Ethiopia, they also pointed out you have the Amhara and the Tigray regions of Ethiopia citing ongoing violence and human rights abuses. So again, Myanmar, we have Yemen, South Sudan, Central Africa, we have all these acts of genocide that are happening in the world. So the question is this race-based? Is this race-based? That's the question that I have. Because what other white nations that come out and say this? Or is this by the likes of Elon Musk talking to his friend, his pal, his cohort, President Donald Trump, to save some of the people who may not have been as financially stable in South Africa and brought 50 of them over here who probably couldn't cut their way? Or there's legislation that being passed in South Africa since the apartheid of all the land and wealth and resources that have been extrapolated and stole from the South Africans, and the South African government wants to return that property back to the Black South Africans before the parents of these Afrikaners, the parents and the grandparents of these South Afrikaners had this entire country go through apartheid, where they controlled every single element of their government, their resources, their infrastructure, their health care, okay, their laws, everything you can possibly name, they were in charge of. And then this is not me for or against the acts, but I will say this. You cannot just put these people out. There's a humanitarian point I'm trying to make here. If you're going to return the land back to the people, and that this land was stolen, I know a lot of people are going to be for or against what I'm about to say. I know it's very indifferent. You're going to have to compensate them. You can't just put them out on it. But again, you are blaming the children for the acts of the father and the mother. They're going to need some compensation if you come in and just take their land. Even though in America, this has happened to Black people over and over and over again, even through Homestead. There were some Black people who were given land, and then when the next president came in, they took the land. Some of our people our land have been stolen. We have been killed, never to be seen again, and our land was stolen then. Or they say that we owed taxes and we paid our taxes and our land was stolen then. We were tricked out of our land by signing things that we truly didn't understand the complex nature of the documents. So again, we've seen this as Black Americans before, or we know the historical references that we can refer to. But if you ask, am I for genocide of white South Africans? Absolutely not. I'm not for the genocide of any people. And if you're going to take the land back, I do believe they need to be compensated in some way because they need to make a way of life. I don't believe in putting anyone out and then blaming them or, again, persecuting them for the acts of their fathers and mother during the apartheid. So that is where I kind of draw the line at when it comes to that.